The Flash number 13, written by Francis Manapul and Brian Buccellato, art by Francis Manapul. We last left off with Flash was just defeated by the Rogues, and then a bunch of gorillas started coming out of the sky. So, yeah, that's where we left off. Then we open up 10 years ago in a suburban home where Barry is working on some homework, and his adoptive father, Daryl, shows up, and he's all bruised and beaten from a night being a cop, and he's like, Daryl, why do you go out there if you're not sure you're going to be able to come home? And Daryl's like, oh, well, all of Central City is my home, Barry, and I have to protect it. One day I hope you'll understand that. And he's like, psh, count me in for an office job. Wah, wah. So then we cut over to 2 minutes ago where Daryl is the captain. I'm not sure that's ever been established, but he is. And Patty comes up with Turbine saying, hey, this guy, he knew my name beforehand, and also he says Barry is alive. So, like, we should listen to him. And Daryl's like, okay, I mean, do you have any proof of this? And he's like, no, but I can just tell you things. And at that point, the gorillas start coming down. So it's like, all right, well, we're going to put that on the back burner. So Barry's knocked out. All the rogues are like, oh, we could really use the Flash right now. Weather Wizard, could you wake him up? So he, like, gets a little bit of rain, makes it Barry wake up, and then it's like, all right, look, there are giant gorillas attacking Flash. You know anything about this? And it's like, yeah, one of them's named Grodd. He wants my powers. We're just going to have to fight. And the entire issue after that point is, like, pretty much just an extended fight issue. So gorillas show up, Flash tries taking them on, and he's waiting for the rogues to join, and the rogues are like, screw that, no, you got this is your problem, bye. So they try to leave, but then, of course, the gorillas encircle them as well, and it's like, all right, well, we're going to have to work together then. So all the rogues and Flash are working together. Golden Glider gets Flash out of a sticky situation like 4 times over the course of this issue. And we see the Grodd is a few blocks away, sitting on a makeshift throne with one of the white gorillas, like, chained around his neck. So clearly he doesn't like the group that allowed Flash to leave. So at this point, he's like, okay, here's the thing. Flash is what I want, but there's also, like, another energy in the city that I can feel, and I'm going to go after that. So, yeah. But then at that point, Trickster shows up, and Trickster's like, hey there, Mr. Gorilla Guy. Seems like you're making a play for the city. You could use somebody who knows the city like a back of his hand. I happen to be that guy. What do you say? And Grodd's like, I don't need anything from you, especially not the back of your hand. And he rips off Trickster's arm and then just leaves. So Trickster's now without an arm. Then we get, they don't say his name, but I think they said it in the Zero issue. It's Daniel West, Iris's brother, I believe, who just got out on parole. And as soon as he got out, there's giant gorilla invasion. So he's like trying to call Iris, trying to figure out where she is. Of course, she's still stuck in the Speed Force, but he doesn't know that, and he's just trying to make sure she's safe. So then we cut back to fight scene. We see that everyone's doing their part and doing a pretty good job, but the gorillas are definitely putting up more of a fight than expected. And finally, they manage to get them all wrapped up in Golden Glider's, I don't know, tassels, ribbons, whatever you want to call it. And as soon as they do that, they're just like, okay, here's the deal. Grodd wants me for my power. I need to go find him. Can you handle these gorillas? As even more gorillas start coming down out of the sky, and he's just like, well, you're going to have to, bye. And Flash zooms off looking for Grodd. And he's like, all right, I'm reflecting on that thing that was said to me in the first page, how, you know, I got to step up and protect these cities because they're both my home and yada, 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 bringing it full circle. But then he arrives at, I believe, Dr. Elias's labs, because the place that Grodd went to was to the Speed Force batteries, where he has now broken them open, consumed the Speed Force, and is now a super fast monkey. So, yeah, it's a fast issue, no pun intended. I think I like it more than I don't, but it is definitely, I don't know. See, I don't know what I want from it, but I just know that this issue felt very light in anything. Like, it was more so just of a, like, okay, Grodd shown up and, like, now the rogues are working with him. Like, it just, Nothing felt like it really had any stakes in particular for this issue. Maybe it's because Barry has already single-handedly dealt with like all the gorillas on his own, and now it's like no different here except that we're in Flash's home turf, which makes it seem like it'd be even easier to win. Yeah, this mostly just felt like setup for the rest of the arc, in that we needed Grodd to get Speed Force powers, and everything else leading up to that is just kind of like, okay, yeah, we're there. We get a whole thing with Trickster losing his arm. We get a whole thing of the Rogues working with Flash temporarily. They make sure to say that numerous times, but the issue as a whole felt very light on content. So I don't dislike it, but it didn't do a lot for me, if that makes any sense. So yeah, it's a fine issue. It really is, and I don't dislike the idea of, you know, Grodd having Speed Force or the Gorillas showing up or the Rogues working on them. I don't dislike anything they did. It's just a matter of it didn't feel like it went enough in any given direction. Like, I didn't really feel like the Gorillas were causing that much chaos. I didn't really feel like the Rogues struggled with working with Flash. I didn't feel like none of the plots really felt like that big of a thing. And even the point where they bookended it with Daryl's words to Barry when he was young, like, that just felt like a, okay, but like I just kind of need a narrative through line here. So we just randomly put this scene in the beginning, randomly had Flash repeated at the end, and it like doesn't apply as strongly as I think it should. So yeah, a bit rambly, but I feel like something's missing, but I couldn't tell you specifically what. Art-wise, looks great. I especially love the last page reveal of Grodd. He looks truly insane on Speed Force energy, so no problems there. So overall, I think I'm going to give this one a... I'm going to give it a 7.5, and the 0.5 is very tentative, but I don't want to fault it for something when I can't put into words why I dislike it, or not dislike it, but why I want more from it. Maybe that's just my own personal bias. I think it's a fine issue. I just think that there's something that's not quite clicking for me yet. Hopefully that's just because this is set up and the next couple issues will be fantastic, but for me, just wanted a little bit more.